Welcome to Five True Singles. The story you're about to hear is from Garrett Wang and was recorded December 8th, 2013. The theme for the evening was Elephant in the Room, stories of ignoring, confronting, or being that thing no one wants to talk about.
Okay, first I just want to make note that it's kind of funny how Grant and I, the two Asians, get introduced back to back. Yes, and then the two Asians get picked back to back. I was stressing big time. When I first heard about coming to this evening, being invited to come here, I was very excited. I thought, oh, what a great idea, this sounds awesome. And then as the days started ticking, the clock started moving, I started getting more and more freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I have no idea. I mean, why couldn't it have been another theme? Why does it have to be the elephant in the room theme? Who wants to do that? And then as late as last night, this morning, I called Brian actually, and I was like, dude, help. I really don't know what I want to talk about. And then I started thinking about it. I said, you know what? I said, the only thing I can really think about in being the elephant in the room is my life. Being an Asian in America has been an elephant in the room. That's a starting place. I was born in California, moved to Indiana, then to Bermuda, then Memphis, Tennessee, and then back to California again. But the formative years, 5th grade through senior year in high school, were in Memphis, Tennessee, where I was reminded on a daily basis that I was not Caucasian, that I was not one of the gang in a way. So I faced racial epithets every day of my life for 8 years straight in Memphis, Tennessee. So I was always the elephant in the room to begin with. I remember, actually, my mom even said, when you came home from kindergarten, which was actually in Indiana, I answered her question with a question. Her question was, how was your first day? And my response to her was, Mommy, why am I different? So right off the bat, I felt like, okay, so I'm the outsider. So 8 years of Memphis, of racial epithets. And I always say to people as a joke, I would have been the original Columbine, but my parents didn't believe in guns at all. They were like, nope, no guns in the house. We're Asian, we don't have guns, we don't need those things. And it took me, honestly, when we were in Memphis, people were going hunting, squirrel hunting at the age of 9. And I was, 15 when I finally got the BB gun. Literally, I was like, finally, I get a BB gun, First day out, I ended up shooting my sister, by mistake. She was walking past the target thing and it hit her. It was sad. That's not my story, though. This is all just set up, just giving a little setup of. So I go from being the elephant in the room, being the Asian in Memphis, Tennessee, to being the elephant in the room in Hollywood, which is even more of a microcosm. I mean, if you think about it, in the 90s, I was the only Asian male series regular on television in all the 90s. There was nobody else, right? And it's just one thing after another. I've constantly felt like the elephant in the room, whether it's being at an audition for a Yakuza member, a Japanese mafia guy, and having the Jewish casting director tell me that my Japanese accent is not the right one. God gave me a gift of mimicry. I love to impersonate. My idol growing up was Rich Little, the impersonator. I wanted to be Rich Little. I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live, So for me, to do an accent, that's what I love doing. And to sit there and have someone tell me, no, you're not even doing that right. And they're not even Asian, Boy, I felt like the elephant there. I went to the Shanghai Noon premiere. This was with Jackie Chan and, was it Luke? No, one of the Wilson. Owen Wilson, yeah. Lucy Liu was there. So I go to the LA Hollywood premiere, and afterwards I go to the after party, and there's a big tent set up with where all the actors have their main tables. And I see Lucy, who I've known for years. And I walk up, I go, Lucy, congratulations on all your success, blah, blah. She's like, oh, Garrett, hey, how's it going? What's up? We're talking. And all of a sudden, when you know somebody's staring at you, you always know it. You just feel that energy. And I turn, and it's Jackie Chan sitting at his table, just looking at me. Not happy, just pissed. Just like, look, almost like there can only be one Asian at this party. Which is how Grant and I see each other. Oh my God, it's you? Oh, I love you. I love my Asian brother from another mother. No. But Jackie Chan would just give me this look of just like, oh, how dare you be here? And it was so awkward. And I remember looking at Lucy, I go, Lucy, Jackie is staring at me kind of like he hates me. And she's like, ooh, that is weird. I don't know what that means. So another elephant in the room story. But the story I really want to focus on is my first time in Europe. My very first time in Europe. Being on Star Trek Voyager has afforded me the opportunity to see the world in terms of being invited to Star Trek conventions to come and sign autographs. And I remember that my first European convention was in Germany. And they had called and said, listen, we'd love to have you come and be our guest and sign autographs in Germany. So I said, okay. I said, I'll come on out. And I remember I flew out there, and they gave me two business class seats. It was very, very, plush and everything. And I wasn't dating anyone at the time, so I took a buddy with me, a friend of mine. He's an actor also, and he came along with me. And I remember we flew to Germany first, and then instead of going to the convention, I actually took a side trip first to Amsterdam. I wanted to see what Amsterdam was all about. So it was Germany, Amsterdam, and then back to Germany. Now, getting on the plane, which was Lufthansa, in Los Angeles with my buddy, I noticed that very little English was being spoken on that plane. Almost everybody was German on this Lufthansa flight from LA to Frankfurt direct. And my buddy starts making jokes. And you have to understand, being an American, growing up as an American, and watching Hollywood movies, you become very conditioned in terms of how you view the world by what you see on television and in the films. So being in Hollywood, which is, let's face it, it's 99.9% run by Jews, their view towards Germans and Nazis is not very good. So me growing up, I thought Germany was a land of all concrete, no trees, no birds, no animals, really pissed off people, and they wanted to murder you. That's what I thought. Because of Hollywood, okay? So I get on the plane, we're sitting there, we're about to take off, and the flight attendant makes an announcement on the little microphone, and she says, would passengers Nobu Masahiro and Tojo Yamasaki please come to the front of the plane? My buddy leans over, he's like, it's starting now. They are getting rid of all the minorities now. He's half German, half Korean, and I'm 100% Chinese. He looks at me, he's like, we are in trouble. Like that. And I look at him and I was like, just stop it. Don't bring that up. That's not funny. Look, they're calling up all the minorities now, right? So already it started out bad. And I remember taking a melatonin to help sleep on that flight. And I'd been doing some internet research, and melatonin says, do not take too much melatonin if you're under 40 years of age. And I'm in my mid-20s at the time. This is at the beginning of Voyager, basically. And I thought, hey, this is baloney. I take melatonin, it helps me sleep every time. And later, if you keep reading a little further, it says, if you take melatonin, you're under 40, there will come a time where it will do the exact opposite. You will not sleep. You will stay wide awake, and you will have waking nightmares, okay? And so it happened on that flight. So now I'm sitting there thinking about, oh my gosh, there's no minorities on this plane. They're all Germans, like that. And I take the melatonin, and I'm trying to sleep, and now it's already way past that window of when I'm supposed to be done, okay? And this is pre-Ambien days, so I would have loved an Ambien. And I'm out. I'm out of my mind with just restlessness, just getting up going, oh my gosh, what's going on? And sure enough, I just start seeing colors start popping in my view. I mean, everything, I'm seeing visions, and I'm freaking out, and I can't even, I'm just losing it. So finally, when we land, we get to Amsterdam, and we get out, we go to the hotel that we're at, and I'm thinking, I need some type of sleeping aid. I need something to knock me out, big time. So I talked to the bell desk guy, and I said, point me in the direction of the closest purveyor of marijuana, so I can help me sleep, So he goes, yeah, try out Johnny's Coffee Shop. It's around the corner. So I go over to Johnny's Coffee Shop, and I'm just, like I said, I'm wired. I walk in there. There's 3 people in there. Johnny, the owner, Marius, a redheaded Dutch kid, and Dave, an old retired British guy who used to fix video game machines, but he decided to retire in Amsterdam and smoke hash for the rest of his retired life. So, I don't know what I'm doing in there. I'm like, okay, so how do I do this? And they're like, okay, here's a menu. Look at the menu. I go, oh, all right, I'll take that, I guess. So the guy ends up rolling this large joint. Literally, it's this big, right? And he goes, here. And I take that. I go, well, what? This is it? He goes, yeah. So I remember he lit it, and I smoked, and it was literally 1001, 1002, stoned, like that. I thought, oh, I think I can sleep now. I can really sleep. And I go, oh, this is wonderful. I go back to the hotel, have a nice little sleep. I'm like, okay, this is great. My buddy goes out that night. Next day, I wake up and I'm finally rested. And he goes, oh my God, last night was amazing. I went to this club was just the music and the women and this, and you missed out. I said, look, I was up the entire flight. I had to, sleep. He says, you got to come tonight. We got to go check. You've got to see this. I said, okay. So I go with him. The next night, we go to the location where he went to, and it's dead. There's maybe 12 people or 10 people max in the whole cavernous club. And he goes, I don't get it. I mean, this is bizarre. It was amazing, and I don't know what happened. So I said, okay, let me check this out. Let me go talk to the bartender. I walk up to one of the bartenders. I said, excuse me, were you working here last night? And they said, yes, I was here. I said, good. Who was the promoter or the DJ? He goes, oh, that's DJ blah, 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 who I cannot remember the Dutch name for my life. But he said, he moves around. Every night he's at a different location. Tonight, where's he at? He goes, he's over at the China Club. And I go, oh, perfect, I'm Chinese. This is perfect. He's at China Club. I'm going to go to China Club. So we get in a cab, we go all the way out to China Club. It's 45 minutes to get to China Club, on the outskirts of Amsterdam. So we're there, we walk up, and the Dutch bouncer looks at the both of us, and he goes, sorry, you need a membership. And I look at the guy, I said, membership? I said, we're tourists, we're from America, we don't have membership to your club. We just took a taxi ride for 45 minutes here. And he's like, no, sorry, it can't happen. We stand there a little while longer, and I still look at the guy, and I go, come on, guy, I mean, what's going on here? What's the down low? You're letting everyone in but us, and we came thousands of miles. And he looks at me, he says, okay, you're dressed correctly. And I was wearing black shirt, black pants, whatever. I looked LA at the time, right? He looks at my buddy, him, not so much. My buddy, I look over, I realize, oh God, he's wearing like a J. Crew barn jacket, a plaid shirt, jeans, and hiking boots, okay? So he's not dressed for a nightclub, but yet he's there wearing that. So he says, you're gonna have to go back to your hotel, and you're gonna have to go ahead and change and come back. I said, well, by the time we do that, 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back, there's gonna be 10 minutes left when you close the club. And he says, well, that's not my fault. I said, well, please, just do me a favor. Let me go inside. Let me go in and just see it just once. I just want to see what this amazingness is. And I walk in there, and first of all, you have to understand at this time this is 1996. The music I had been listening to before that point was pretty much hip hoppy, Cypress Hill, wearing a Cypress Hill shirt, DMX. It was kind of rap stuff is what I was listening to. I never really listened to electronic music or techno as they call it. But that's what this DJ was playing, and that's what this club was playing. And I remember when walking in there and just feeling completely enveloped by this music, and it was amazing. It was trance specifically, trance music. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to dance. And sometimes you go into a club, there's music that makes you want to do it, right? You gotta dance, you've just gotta go. And remember, I'd just been let in for 5 minutes just to check it out. I go, I gotta go. I get on the dance floor, I start moving to this music. I'm not even into this kind of music, but it's taken me by, it just grabbed a hold of me. And I'm dancing, I'm looking around, and the women there are just gorgeous. Because the one thing you notice when you go to Europe for the first time, there's not this preoccupation with makeup there. There's so much, it's just very fresh, clean. It's not that Texas cheerleading mom, caked on kind of heavy makeup. It's very, very fresh. And these fresh, beautiful Dutch women were just everywhere in the club. And I remember walking up, and unlike LA girls that are beautiful and gorgeous and have attitude, these girls didn't even care. They were just normal people, which was amazing. So I remember walking up to one girl, start dancing with her. She starts dancing back. I'm like, yeah, all right. Start dancing. And again, it was just, and then I thought, oh, I gotta go back to my friend, he's outside. So I walk outside, I run back out, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I said, we've got to go in. We cannot go back to the hotel. This is not gonna happen. And I said to the bouncer, is there any way we could get in there? Because it was amazing. Please, sir. And he goes, nope. And I look at him again. I go, what if I was to tip you? And he looks at me and he says, well, tipping, that only happens in Hollywood, my friend. like that. That's just a Hollywood movie. So then I looked at my buddy, and he goes, well, I guess we better get a cab. I go, no, we're not getting a cab. We're going to stay here. And I pulled out the equivalent of $100 in Dutch guilders. And I walked up to the bouncer. I go, what's your name? He goes, my name's Anton. I go, Anton? I'm from motherfucking Hollywood, like that. So he looks down at the equivalent of $100 in Dutch guilders and goes, go right in. We walk in there, and now I go back to my whole thing of dancing with every woman in that club. I'm like, hey, you, let's go, let's go, let's go. And it was just amazing. But then as I'm doing this, I feel like a kid in the candy shop because I'm literally overloading on women is what I'm doing. I'm ODing on just women and flirting and this and that. And all of a sudden I notice there's about 4 or 5 Dutch guys that have been just watching me, just kind of almost upset that being the elephant in the room, I'm the one doing everything. We're running around flirting with their Dutch women in a way. And all of a sudden they started looking quite aggressive. Right? And they're kind of talking, whispering amongst each other and looking at me up and down. And they start looking like they're not thinking positive thoughts at the time about me. So then while I'm dancing, I start incorporating martial arts moves into my dancing. So I'm like, I'm going to move and I'm going to kick like that. I'm going to chop like that. I'm going to to try to make myself look a little more tough, Because let's face it, I mean, if you're Asian, most people are like, oh, he's the brainiac, he's the mathematician, he's a pushover. But if you mention Bruce Lee, they go, oh yeah, they do know that. They do know that. So start doing the kicking and everything. And sure enough, to the music, I'm doing the kicking, and to the music, they're kind of like just kind of moving, but looking at me, staring at me, staring at me. And they start marching towards me. But the minute I started doing the kicking, they stopped, which was kind of cool. And they kind of looked at each other, and then they kept marching again. They kind of think, well, we're 4, he's 1, whatever. We're gonna take him out. 15 seconds more, and I'm thinking these guys are gonna rush me. And I notice in the very far corner, there's 3 Asian people there. I go, oh, more elephants! And I go, running over to those other 3 Asians, and I go, hi, what are you guys doing here? They go, oh, we go to the University of Amsterdam. I go, hey, come here, Asian brother. So those guys actually looked after and kind of had my back for the rest of the evening, for that time. But I think the moral of this story is basically everything within moderation is what it is. Thank you.
The story you just listened to, absolutely true.